Balance Crime. Außerdem Sefis Bier.
You see, I knew that 2 letters had been sent.
Huh?
There are no secrets between partners. It was easy to find out.
Okay, was könnte denn jetzt ein Crime sein?
That was when I understood Magnifi's plan.
He wanted to die by one of your hands?
Little did I expect it had anything to do with the rights to his repertoire. That was when I heard it. The little demon whispering inside my heart.
The demon?
Let me confess, I had intended to shoot Magnifi, and I planned on framing my partner for the crime.
What?
That night I had prepared something before going to Magnifi's hospital room.
Which was?
IV fluid, of course. I'd seen it for an earlier visit. If Zack did not shoot, I would do the deed. Then I would use the IV liquid to place the murder on his hands. That was my plan.
But you didn't shoot him.
I could not. The demon in my heart fled when the moment came, but then Magnifi called me back. I am sorry, Valand. I am giving my magic to Zack, not you. You still lack the drawer he has. Please help him if you can. I left the room, and then I stopped. The shock of what I had just been told consumed me. That is when I heard that fateful gunshot.
Magnific Gramarye killing himself.
Then the demon awoke anew within me. Zack killed him. He was the one. Frame him, and the magic will be yours. I altered the scene of his suicide. I took the pistol from his hand, wiped off the prints. Then I used the syringe to add the IV liquid I'd brought.
Okay, also er hat ihn nicht erschossen, aber er hat versucht, es so darzustellen, als wäre es Zack gewesen. So in the end, things happened pretty much as planned. Magnifi died, and you framed Zack for his murder.
As planned, indeed. Of course, the outcome was somewhat different than I had anticipated. Well, what do you think? Do you believe my story? Can it be believed truly?
That was 7 years ago. I don't know what to believe, but...
Yes.
I'm glad I heard it from you, Mr. Valand. Thank you.
It is I who should be thanking you, Mr. Wright.
Da ist ein Mopsi! Hoch die Tassen oder die Flaschen. Ah. Schmeckt gleich noch besser.
It is I.
Wie war das noch? It is I, Kinzo. Hatte er nicht irgendwie sowas in der Art gesagt in Umineko?
It is I who should be thanking you, Mr. Wright. Only when I had lost everything could I make my decision.
You're going to turn yourself in? So ging ein Telefon. Ich glaube, ich habe das wahrscheinlich schon damals bei Umineko gesagt, aber das ist echt eine fucking epische Art, ans Telefon zu gehen. Nicht einfach, ja, hallo, sondern
it is I, Kinzo. My partner may have vanished, but not so my guilt. And as my guilt stays, all else begins to leave me. My friends, my performance rights, my magic. I've had enough of vanishing acts.
I understand.
I thought my life was ruled by a dead man, but I find I was wrong. For Zack Gramarye was alive.
Well, not anymore.
And now it occurs to me, what if he was not the only one who survived?
Yeah. What do you mean?
You see, now that I think about it, I realize that we never saw proof of her demise. We never saw her body.
Her? Ach, Phoenix. Die ganze Zeit machst du einen auf, ich weiß sowieso schon alles und jetzt bist du an der Sache hier, verwirrt?
The mind races and the mouth flaps on. My apologies. Forget this matter. I can only hope that the day will come when I again meet my partner, Zack Gramarye. Then I shall apologize for my terrible mistake. I am glad we had this chance to talk. Thank you.
Zack Gramarye, Shady Smith, whichever name you prefer, he is no longer with us. The truth revealed in that trial was only a sliver, and the impenetrable darkness that remained has taken another life. I knew what I'd have to do to push back the darkness for good, and it would involve paying that man a visit. Ja, sind ja eigentlich auch alle anderen erledigt, ne?
Sorry, sir. Prisoner Christopher Gavin is currently occupied.
I see. Do you know when he'll be finished?
Well,
Could you go find out?
certainly, sir. Please wait here a moment.
Dann können wir doch mal den Brief lesen, der da liegt. My apologies to the guard, but there's something I need to see. There it is. The yellow envelope. The sender is Drew Misham. I was right. When I arrived at the studio, Mr. Wisham. Ah, stimmt. Es wurde doch gesagt, dass er einen gelben Brief verschickt hat. Das wurde ja gar nicht mehr wieder erwähnt. Also bis jetzt wurde das nicht wieder aufgegriffen. Deswegen hatte ich das komplett vergessen. Aber ja, da war ja was. He seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope. It was a yellow envelope. I heard it was left at the crime scene. Und dann ist das ja nicht da gewesen. If this is the last letter that Drew Misham wrote, then there's something I need to do. The last thing I need to do, in fact. Here goes. Let's see if this atroquinine spray finds anything. Aber das sollten wir doch eigentlich schon wissen, dass die Briefmarke da drauf war. So this was Drew Misham's messenger of death. It was this stamp all right, no mistaking it. And his last letter was sent to Christopher Gavin. Gotcha. Letter from Misham added to the court record. Also hier steht, the interview request came like you said it would, and they're looking into the case. I swear on my life I won't tell them about you, so please release the spell you've put on my daughter. I'll write later with a report. Finally, decisive evidence. What's this? A burglar in jail. Gavin, I didn't know you moonlighted in larceny, right? Gavin, there's something I have to ask you. Can I steal your stuff? The answer is no. Okay. My apologies, but there's not much I care to discuss. Vera Misham hasn't received a verdict yet. You follow me, Gavin. There are no known survivors of atroquinine poisoning, but it never hurts to hope. Okay, I'll be leaving now then. Right. Wait. Yeah, Gavin? Would you mind leaving that letter? It's private. Oh, sorry. Forgot I had it. Many thanks. Musste kurz die Katze streicheln. We've now seen all the clues in this case. Clues I gathered over 7 long years. Now it is time. Every story has an ending. Jetzt beginnt das eigentliche Spiel. Wir sind nicht bei Okami. Bei Okami war das ja echt so. Ich dachte, jetzt habe ich den Endgegner besiegt und dann das Spiel so, ja, und dann fing das Abenteuer erst an. We've come to the final chapter, the final trial. Find the truth. You're the only ones who can. Okay, Hobo Phoenix, wir haben noch 1,5 Stunden, vielleicht schaffen wir das. Jetzt müsst ihr alle mithelfen. Welcome to court. 7 years, all leading to one verdict. A verdict which you must decide. Is the defendant Vera Misham innocent or guilty? Ja, also das ist ja jetzt wohl nicht so eine schwere Frage. The courtroom doors are opening. The trial awaits. Are you ready to begin? Courtroom number 3. Preparations complete. Something inside me, rising, surfacing. Something important, lost long ago, is close now. So close. October 9th, 10 a.m. District Court, Courtroom Number 3.
Court is now in session for the trial of Vera Mission, who is almost dead anyway.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. Prosecution is ready to rock.
Prosecutor Gavin, how is the defendant, Vera Mission's condition?
Acute atrochrony poisoning, according to her physician. She could die at any time. Thus her absence from the courtroom today. What? They can't put her on trial without her being here. It is unusual. They should wait for her to get better and do it then. It's so bureaucratic of them. That's being a little harsh. They can't delay the trial any longer. Why? Or they risk having no one left to try. A trial without a verdict can only cause grief. The records of this case and experience tell us this. Apologies to the defendant, but the show must go on. Right, if Vera dies, the trial will be cancelled. I'm not going to let that happen. Mr. Wright told me everything that's been going on behind the curtain all these years. I'm going to get Vera her innocent verdict while there's still time.
Very well, your opening statement, Prosecutor Gavin.
The prosecution's case is unchanged by recent events. Why did Vera Misham succumb to poison? Because she couldn't live with the guilt of what she'd done.
Objection!
Bullshit. Immediately. But Vera was poisoned with atrochrony, the exact same poison that took her father's life. What a better confession could you ask for? Being the killer, she would have had access to the poison. Significant, since it's rather hard to come by.
That is true.
In other words, I see no need for further discussion, actually. We could have had our verdict yesterday.
Well, Mr. Justice, if you have no objections, I see no reason to postpone the verdict.
Hallo? Haven't got mal angefangen. What we need to worry about isn't the verdict, but the trial itself. The defense holds that Vera Misham is the victim, not the killer. If that is so, then you have to prove something. She was in court, giving her testimony before us. Ja, ich finde, Clavier ist auch irgendwie so ein bisschen komisch gemacht als Charakter. Ich meine, in dem Fall von, wie hieß denn der Heini mit der langen Haifrisur? Sein Bandkollege, als Clavier auf einmal klar wurde, dass der tatsächlich der Täter sein musste, wirkt es ja auf einmal so, als würde er auf unserer Seite stehen und uns so ein bisschen helfen, obwohl er eigentlich Prosecution ist. Nur jetzt nach dem, was in dem ganzen Vera-Fall zuletzt alles zutage getreten ist, auch ohne diese Rückblickssache mit Phoenix, die nur wir hatten und die Phoenix dann nur Apollo erzählt hat. Ich finde, auch ohne das hätte eigentlich am Ende des Trials wirkte es ziemlich eindeutig so, als wäre Vera das nicht gewesen. Und ich kann mir irgendwie nicht vorstellen, dass Clavier das immer noch glaubt, dass sie das war. Und trotzdem ist er hier jetzt auf einmal wieder so verbissen, dass sie das Guilty Verdict bekommen soll. Also was ich sagen will, ist, manchmal wirkt es so, als würde er auf einmal nicht mehr auf ein Guilty Verdict hinarbeiten, wenn er merkt, dass die Person tatsächlich schuldig ist. Und ein anderes Mal wirkt es auf einmal so, als es sollte ihm eigentlich längst klar sein, dass das Guilty Verdict unfair wäre. Aber auf einmal ist er wieder trotzdem auf der Seite, dass er das doch haben will. Das war mit in den anderen Teilen hatte ich nie so das Gefühl. Da gab es immer bessere Gründe, warum die das wollten, was sie wollten. Das bei Clavier, finde ich, ist irgendwie so ein bisschen, weiß ich nicht, als hätten sie keine klare Linie gehabt, was sie jetzt eigentlich mit ihm anfangen wollen. So, dann ist er auf einmal auf unserer Seite, wenn es gerade in die Story passt, und dann ist er wieder nicht auf unserer Seite, wenn es nicht in die Story passt. Das Gefühl hatte ich bei den anderen Ace Attorney-Teilen mit dem mit der Prosecution eigentlich nie. Anyway, she was in court giving her testimony before us. How do you propose her killer poisoned her? Oder er ist einfach wirklich so dumm und hat noch nicht gerafft, dass sie es nicht war und glaubt es noch. Kann natürlich auch sein. Oh, and incidentally, it would be nice if you told us who her mystery killer was. Dein dummer Bruder wahrscheinlich immer noch. Schön, schön gesagt. Ich fand, also das Coolste in dem Spiel fand ich ja, wie man Phoenix gespielt hat. Und Claire, wie er wirklich noch so ein bisschen grün hinter den Ohren wirkte und Phoenix wirklich irgendwie so eine Art Selbstbewusstsein ausgestrahlt hat und ihn durchaus auch in die Schranken weisen konnte. Das war ganz, ganz nett.
The prosecution's objection is sustained. I ask the defense to prove its claims to this court. Tell us how Vera Mission was poisoned.
I've got two things to prove here. Who did it and how? Which to hit first? Ich würde sagen how, weil die Nageldingsbums, ja. Wir können ja nicht einfach direkt sagen, wer, ohne vielleicht erstmal das mit dem Nail Polish zu establishen und das dann mit Gavin zu verbinden, weil das Zeug auch in seiner Zelle war. How did the killer poison Vera Mission? I will focus first on the method used.
Any comments before we begin, Prosecutor Gavin?
Not a bottle or container of the poison was found on the defendant's body.
I see. So the victor of poisoning is unknown. Is the defense prepared to prove how the poison reached Vera Mission?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. What method was used to poison Vera Mission? What is this? My, what a beautiful bottle. I'd like to give whoever designed that a hand.
Is that nail polish? It's colorless. Something the matter? No, nothing. Nothing at all. Ist dir vielleicht gerade aufgefallen, dass dein scheiß Bruder auch so ein Zeug benutzt?
So the killer put poison in this bottle and made her drink it.
As Prosecutor Gavin has told us, this is nail polish.
Nail polish?
I can't believe you don't know this, Mr. Judge. It's like paint for nails. You know any women with red nails?
Oh, my wife has red nails. I see. So she's been painting them all this time.
Wie hat der es eigentlich geschafft, ein scheiß Richter zu werden? Das war jetzt durchaus lustig. Let's recall yesterday's trial. Remember when Vera was testifying to the court? Die hat sich doch die ganze Zeit auf den Nägeln rumgekaut.
Court is now back in session.
Da, man sieht's. Vera seems pretty tense. She's practically chewing her fingernails clean off. Whenever Vera became nervous, she had a habit of biting her nails.
Her nails?
Prosecutor Gavin, when the prosecution had Vera examined, did they check her nails? I don't like to admit this, but...
Bailiff, have them check the defendant's nails at once. Mr. Justice.
Yes?
Do you know who did this? Do you know who put poison in their nail polish?
Yes.
That bottle belongs to Vera Mission.
Why do you ask? Know someone else who might have a bottle like this? No, just checking. Ja, genau, das glaube ich dir total.
Mr. Justice, you are about to accuse someone of poisoning that bottle of nail polish. Please dispense with the chatter. You realize the weight of this accusation? Here, let me show you.
Understood, Your Honor. Ich habe gar nicht auf den Balken geguckt. Da stand wahrscheinlich, wie viel ich verliere, wenn ich das jetzt falsch mache. Aber als er hier let me show you gesagt hat, war das Ding schon wieder weg. No problem, I know what I'm doing this time. Unlike the other times. Jetzt sieht man es nochmal gleich 2 Balken.
Then let us ask, who poisoned Vera Mission via her nail polish?
Ja, das ist ja nett vom Spiel, dass er direkt auch schon wieder ausgewählt ist.
What is this? Christoph Gavin?
Objection!
Muss doch nicht langsam mal so ein Loch in der Wand sein, wenn er da ständig reinhaut?
What is your game? My bro, there's no way he could do a thing like that. You should know that better than anyone else. Indeed, he is behind bars.
Vielleicht hat sie ihn ja mal besucht, um sich so eine neue Flasche zu holen. Oder er schickt ihr sie regelmäßig oder sowas. Er hat sie ja immerhin, als sie 12 war, überredet, dass das die einzige Möglichkeit ist für sie, sicher das Haus zu verlassen. I know that he's behind bars, however, that doesn't mean it was impossible to do what he did.
What?
Ask yourselves when he put the poison in the bottle. It could have been yesterday, it could have been a month ago, maybe it was a year ago, or perhaps it was 7 years ago. Ja gut, oder das. Er groomt sie, seit sie 12 ist. Wer weiß.
But Christoph Gavin had no motive for killing this poor girl. It's simply inconceivable.
Prosecutor Gavin doesn't seem to think so, considering he's sweating bullets. That face tells me one thing. Christoph Gavin's own younger brother doesn't find it inconceivable at all. Mann, der selbstbewusste Apollo gerade gefällt mir viel besser.
Well, Prosecutor Gavin, if you feel there is a clear and pressing need, then we may have to summon Christoph Gavin from jail as a special witness.
Fine. I've known for some time that an impenetrable darkness lurked at the bottom of this. A darkness that has swallowed even myself. Okay, the defense's wish is granted. Let prisoner Christoph Gavin take the stand.
Bailiff, begin proceedings to call a special witness. The witness is Christoph Gavin, currently residing in solitary cell 13 at Central Prison.
Da ist er wieder. Ah, Your Honor, how nice to see you again.
It's been quite a while, hasn't it?
To what do I owe the pleasure of your company? It's not every day I'm summoned from my solitary cell. In fact, it's never. I think you already know, Mr. Christoph Gavin. Ah, Mr. Justice. I hear you've been doing quite well for yourself. Why do I feel like somehow he's still my boss? Stiff upper lip, Apollo. You can do it. Does this bottle look familiar? Ariadone nail polish. Why, yes, I use it myself. As did the late defendant, I hear. She's not dead yet. And was there something concerning this bottle you wish to ask me about? I admit I respect her for her taste in nail polish. Her taste, indeed. This nail polish was how Varamisham was poisoned. Atroquinine, was it?
You're well informed about the case, Mr. Gavin.
Even in solitary, much comes to my desk, and I have nothing to do but read. Well, Clavier, maybe you can explain this. You're being accused again, by him, again. Ah, and you agree with his accusation, do you?
Let's hold a proper trial, shall we? Christoph Gavin, your testimony, please.
I'd be delighted.
The charges against you are quite severe, Mr. Gavin. You are suspected of the poisoning of the defendant, Varamisham. Please testify on this matter to the court.
Okay, jetzt kriegen wir den Bastard. Dass mal der Richter die Stimme der Vernunft ist. Das kommt auch nicht so oft vor. Poisoning Vera. Owning the same nail polish does not a murderer make. Oh, jetzt fängt er auch noch an so zu reden. I have been in solitary confinement for half a year. How could I poison her? Her father died of the same poison, the meaning of which should be clear. The prosecution's case holds. She poisoned her father, then attempted to poison herself. Surely you aren't going to suggest I was responsible for poisoning her father too. Das wäre direkt, wo wir die Briefmarke präsentieren könnten, beziehungsweise den gelben Brief, besser gesagt, den wir ja haben. Ich weiß gar nicht, ob ich das noch großartig pressen muss. Das würde ich direkt erstmal versuchen. Denn ich würde sagen, ja doch, das ist, was wir suggesten.
Well, I'm afraid the defense's claim is sounding rather unlikely.
Naturally. For one, I don't even know the Mishams. Isn't it so, Mr. Justice?
Very well, Mr. Justice, begin your cross-examination.
I'm accusing Christoph Gavin, my ex-boss. But I know he poisoned the Mishams. The question is, when could he have done it? Not to mention why. Oh nein, nicht... Natürlich kommt dieses dumme Bracelet nochmal. Ich hatte gehofft, das wird uns erspart bleiben. Ich will erstmal gucken, ob ich das direkt am Schluss präsenten kann. Präsent. Okay, offenbar nicht. Na gut, dann pressen wir erstmal. Tell me, is this nail polish expensive? Aridoni is a nail polish of the highest order. Not only is it fabulously expensive, but it is made in extremely limited quantities. And you and Vera just happen to both use it. That can't be a coincidence. I'm guessing it's not a coincidence. Huh? It's simple. Aridoni is the best nail polish one can buy, correct? Then if one wanted the best nail polish, one would buy it.
That makes sense. Well, it's a bit like my feelings toward my brand name Gavel here.
And my silk top hat. Are we all done showing off our refined tastes?
Please continue with your tasteful testimony.
I have been in solitary confinement for half a year. Bitte lass... muss ich jetzt echt das scheiß Bracelet benutzen? Can't you still make contact with the outside world in solitary? Ah, so he had an accomplice on the outside. Is this your latest accusation? I am allowed a certain modicum of letter writing. But the contents of those letters are closely checked. It would be extremely difficult to send a hit request. Prosecutor Gavin is on the warpath, isn't he? Yeah, you think so too, Trucy? I bet I know why. He must be nervous with Big Brother watching. Maybe that's a weakness I can turn to my advantage. Oh, das habe ich doch gar nicht dran gedacht. I'll be cool with that. May I continue? Her father died of the same poison, meaning which should be clear. The defendant is not dead yet. There are no known cases of someone surviving a trochonine poisoning. You seem to know a lot about the trochonine. I know a lot about a lot of things, which is why I suggest we pick up the pace. Or else you'll be short one defendant for what she's worth.
The witnesses were refrained from speaking ill of the ill.
My apologies. Shall I continue? Prosecution is always about your father, then attempted poison. Vera had no reason to want to commit suicide, and also, who would commit suicide by doing their nails? The answer is quite simple. Basically, allow me to explain, beginning with why did she do it? The answer is quite simple. She couldn't live with her own guilt. Next, why did she use nail polish to poison herself? This too is simple. So she could die doing something that she liked. Something that she liked? Once she saw that the trial wasn't going her way, she knew she would die. And it's not easy to bring poison into a courtroom. Must I explain further?
I believe that's clear enough. Crystal clear.
Wow, the two brothers together is like a two-man wrecking team. They could use a little more teamwork, though. Er ist ihm voll ins Wort gefallen. Ich würde hier mal das Bracelet benutzen. Wenn wir das hier wirklich schon benutzen müssen, wäre das ja am ehesten. Wo? Das ist vielleicht... Oh mein Gott, wie guckt der denn? Können wir das präsenten? Das sieht nämlich scheiße gruselig aus. Mr. Gavin, you're nervous about something. Wow, das war tatsächlich richtig. Vielleicht hat er in den anderen Bildern nicht solche Augen gemacht. Also wenn ich in den anderen Aussagen mit Perceive geguckt hätte, hätte er vielleicht nicht solche Augen gemacht. You're nervous about something. There is that finger pointing at me so rudely. And that desperate gleam in your eyes. It's quite disturbing, actually. Perhaps because you have no faith in your own logic, which is why you cling to your dubious power. Confident or not, I've come a long way, Mr. Gavin. Just a little more to go. I need a word. There must be some word that sends shivers down his spine. Okay, das war's doch nicht. Both Vera and Mr. Mission were poisoned with atrocinine. That really can't be a coincidence. The defense is repeating fallacious statements based on conjecture. The prosecution requests concrete, unambiguous proof of the witness's crime.
Objection sustained. The defense will please present concrete proof.
Does Prosecutor Gavin seem strange to you too? It's like he's all grown up. I think that's how prosecutors are supposed to be, actually. Though he is acting different than usual. I'll bet it has a lot to do with his brother Christoph being in the room. Well, let's make this testimony count, Apollo.
Right, quick and painless. My bracelet should do the trick.
Okay, I'm questioning my ex-boss. His testimony seems watertight, but he's lying. I'm sure I'll be able to see something, as long as I focus. Vielleicht habe ich nicht auf dem richtigen Wort geguckt. Gucken wir erstmal, wie er sonst so schaut. Na, ich glaube nicht, dass hier irgendwas ist. Ich glaube immer noch, dass es hier irgendwo ist, aber warum... Muss ich auf dem richtigen Wort? Ich verstehe nicht, was sie wollen. Es wirkt ja, als wäre das eigentlich schon richtig, aber irgendwie doch nicht. Was hat der denn an der Hand? Oh. Das habe ich gesehen. Was war das denn? What the fuck was that?
Gotcha!
It was you who killed Drew Misham. A bluff worthy of your new mentor, Mr. Wright. Oh, really? But you see, I saw it. Right when you said her father, too. Your hand tensed unnaturally, and a little devil appeared to give me the news. And let's assume, for the sake of argument, that you saw me being tense. What does that mean? Are all tense witnesses guilty? And tell me, was Drew Misham fond of nail polish too? Sorry, but there's more than one way to poison a man. You don't need nail polish to get to someone's mouth. Ah. Then I must be very talented indeed. You see, Drew Misham was killed on October 6, while I was already in my solitary confinement cell at Central Prison. If that is not an alibi, then I don't know what is. But you found a way all the same. Das habe ich vorhin auch gedacht. And I fought it too. This is how you poisoned Mr. Misham. Ob wir das präsentieren können? Oder sollten wir eher den Brief präsentieren? Ich vermute eher das. Vielleicht geht auch beides. My. And here I thought you'd come so far. Huh? I admire how you, lacking any confidence whatsoever, chose to barrel on. Your defense lacks even a shred of elegance. Much like Phoenix Wright, come to think of it. Okay, das war's wohl nicht. How did the killer get to his victim when the killer was in jail? Ja, dann wohl doch das. Auch nicht, hä? Okay, jetzt speichere ich lieber mal, bevor ich hier meine ganze Energie verballer. Muss ich vielleicht die Briefmarke auswählen? Da hätten die anderen Sachen doch eigentlich auch funktionieren sollen, finde ich. I'm sure this commemorative stamp requires no introduction. The night Mr. Misham died, he was seen writing a letter. A troquinine was found on this stamp, Mr. Gavin. So am I to understand the stamp was the murder weapon? Yes, you are. Oh, yes. This stamp was found in your prison cell. That is all, Your Honor.
Order, order, order! Put poison on the back of that stamp.
Da hatten wir doch schon bei Vera Mishams Trial drüber gesprochen. Warum ist er jetzt auch immer so verwundert und verblüfft? After Drew Misham was killed, someone paid a visit to this witness's cell. Phoenix Ryan. Daddy? That's when he found the stamp. You made Drew Misham write your letter. That's how you killed him. What? My. You've upset my poor brother to the point of uselessness. Allow me to clarify this matter, Justice. All you need to do is recall witness Spock Brushell's testimony. Well, that's the thing. See, after he puts letter in that envelope, Mr. Misham sat there searching his desk drawer for something. His desk drawer? Yes, a stamp. A so-called postage stamp, end quote. He was looking for a stamp. Ergo, he had no intention of using this stamp. What are you getting at? What I'm arriving at is that this commemorative stamp was in a frame. It was mere coincidence that he used it that night.
That would seem to be the case.
Or perhaps you mean to suggest that I can somehow manipulate coincidence? Vielleicht war es ja nur Zufall. Ich glaube ja immer noch, dass die Briefmarke damals eher dazu gedacht war, direkt Vera umzubringen.
He does have a point. How would this witness know if the victim was going to use that stamp? Without that, he couldn't have planned the murder.
What? Really, Clavier, you should be seeing through these weak-spined bluffs by now. He's right, though. How could anyone have known Mr. Misham would use that stamp that night? Least of all, Christoph Gavin locked away in his cell.
Well, it seems that the defense has run out of things to say.
You assume he had something to say in the first place. I believe the defense's bluff has been called. The defense's bluff? I'm not sure I agree with you there, Christoph. Oh, ist jetzt endlich der Clavier zurück, der plötzlich auf unserer Seite ist? Clavier? Honestly, I wanted to believe you. But the defense wasn't trying to get away with the bluff. You were, Christoph.
What are you saying, Prosecutor Gavin?
Herr Forehead, what was your accusation again? Huh? It was that this poison stamp killed Drew Misham, yeah? To which my brother responded thusly. There was no way to know when Misham would use the stamp.
Yes, that's right, which is why it couldn't have been planned.
Tell me, it needs to be planned. Why? Why couldn't it have been a coincidence? The defense's case is simply that Drew Misham died by that stamp. That's all. Ja, das meinte ich ja auch gerade. Das kann ja einfach ein Zufall gewesen sein. Ich vermute, wie gesagt, dass die Briefmarke damals schon vergiftet war, damit die Person, die die Forgery anfertigt, danach irgendwann stirbt, um quasi Leute aus dem Weg zu schaffen, die davon wissen. Und Christoph konnte ja nicht wissen, dass sie die Briefmarke so toll findet, dass sie einrahmt und die dann erst 7 Jahre später dazu führt, dass ihr Vater daran stirbt. Das würde aber ja nichts daran ändern, dass Christoph dafür im Grunde ja verantwortlich ist. Coincidence. Christoph, you tried to slip out from under his accusation by changing the subject. If that's not bluffing, what is it? What are you up to, Clavier? I could ask you the same question, Christoph. I silence the defense with the fewest words possible. It's called efficiency.
But Mr. Gavin, that's impermissible testimony.
Very well, I shall take his claim head on then. Justice. What? You accuse me of Drew Mission's murder, yes? Then allow me to ask you, what possible reason could I have to kill a painter? Apollo, motive. He's talking about a motive.
Indeed. It's hard to see how an attorney could come to want to kill a painter.
Now here's something. Why didn't he bring up the motive from the very beginning? Unless he was afraid it was a battle he might lose. So what does it mean? It means there might be a weak spot. Maybe I have some evidence to prove a motive. Echt?
A motive for murder. This is a vital, if not the most vital element in this case. Please consider this when making your statement.
I'd say it's about this vital. Oh Gott, wir haben nur noch 3 Energiepunkte. Dann würde ich sagen, speichern ist auch vital. That's pretty vital.
Well, Mr. Justice.
I'm going through with this no matter what. Understood, Your Honor. I'd like to present evidence.
Then let's see what you have for us. What reason did Christoph Gavin have for wanting to murder Drew Mission?
Wahrscheinlich das da. Christoph Gavin's motive becomes clear when we consider why the stamp came to Drew Mission's studio in the first place.